Hello, our today's topic is partnership. When two or more partners invest money in a common business, they are called partners, and the business relation is called partnership. In a partnership business, every partner invests two types of entities, type and money. It follows quite easily that different partners may invest different amounts of money. What may not follow that easily is that even the time for which the money is invested by the partners could be different. Now, what is meant by that? It only means that partners join the business at different points of time. For example, consider a business in which A, B, and C are partners. Suppose A and B invested amounts X and Y at the start of the business. 3 months after that, C joined as a partner, investing an amount of Z. At the end of the first year, A and B have invested their respective amounts for 1 full year, while C has invested it only for 9 months. Hence, it follows that a partner's investment is a product of their time and money. That is, investment is equal to the amount of money invested multiplied by the time period for which it is invested. This is because we need to find the amount that is proportionally invested throughout the year. This is done for distribution of profit, which brings us to our next question: how to share a profit or loss. The total profit or loss is distributed among the different partners in direct proportion of their investments. So if three partners invest different amounts for different time periods, their investment ratio would be calculated by multiplying their amount invested and the time periods. Now, this investment ratio is used to distribute profit. So we can say that the profit sharing ratio is the same as the investment ratio. That is, PA is to PB is to PC would be the same as IA is to IB is to IC. Now, these are the concepts that is going to be used for the questions that is going to come up in the partnership topic. So let's look at them. Our first question is: A, B, and C invested rupees 2,000, 5,000, and 4,000 respectively in a business. The net profit for the year was 1210, which was divided in proportion to investment. The amount of profit earned by A, B, and C respectively is. So here we have been directly given the amount invested by A, B, and C, and since no time periods is mentioned, we can assume that they have invested the amount for an equal amount of time. So we'll calculate the investment ratio, which is 2000 is to 5000 is to 4000, that is 2 is to 5 is to 4. Now we will use this ratio to divide the amount of profit, that is 1210. So A's share will come as 2 upon 11 into 1210, B's share is 5 upon 11, and C's share is 4 upon 11. Now the important thing to notice in this question is, if you look at the options closely, two amounts are correct and the third figure is incorrect. So even if you have solved the entire question, done every step and come to an answer, if you select an incorrect answer, it will not lead you to any marks. In fact, you'll end up getting negative marking. So it's very important that you look at the options closely and then select your answer. Now let's see the next question. A, B, and C invested their money in the ratio of 3 is to 6 is to 7. If the total amount invested was rupees 80,000 and the profit earned was 40% of the amount invested, then what was the sum of shares of B and C in the profit? Over here, we have not been given the profit figure, but we have been giving it as a percentage. So we need to first calculate the amount of profit earned. So that will be 80,000 into 0.4, that is 32,000. Now the investment ratio is 3 is to 6 is to 7. So we'll divide using this. So B and C share will come to 6 plus 7 upon 16 into 32,000, that is 26,000. Now another trick that you can learn from this question is that if you look at B plus C share in the total profit, it is 13 parts out of 16. So you can guess that the B and C share will be a multiple of 13. So out of the 4 options, only 26,000 is a multiple of 13. So you can directly come to the select answer as 26,000 and move on to your next question. It might seem irrelevant in this question because the steps are very small, but when you solve ratios and mixtures and allocations, these tricks and logic can come very useful to reaching to a solution very quickly. Let's move on. X, Y, and Z are partners in a business with a total capital of 3,300. The profit at the end of the year is rupees 1,500 to be divided in proportion of their capital. If X receives 450 and Y receives 550 as the share of profits, then Z's capital is. Over here, we do not have the amount of money invested by X, Y, and Z. We do not have the profit sharing ratio, but we have X's profit share, Y's profit share, and the total profit. So we can calculate Z's profit from here. So Z's share of profit would be 1,500 minus 450 plus 550, that is 500. Now, since we have all the three profit figures, we can calculate the profit sharing ratio, and as we have learned earlier, the profit sharing ratio is same as the investment ratio. So the profit ratio here is 9:11:10. Using this ratio, we can calculate the investment made by Z. So that will be 10 upon 30, that is 1/3, which comes down to rupees 1100. So you can see how the formulas can be used indirectly using logic and not just simply putting in the figures and coming to an answer. Next question. Three people, A, B, and C, entered into a partnership and the ratio of the investment was 1/2, 1/3, and 1/4. The ratio of the time period for which they invested their money was 1:2 The profits were shared in the direct proportion to amount invested in time. If A's share is rupees 30,000, then find B's share. So here we have to use the investment formula, that is time into money. So since the investment ratios and the time ratio has been given in fractions, we can simplify it and turn it into whole numbers for easy calculation. So the ratio of the amount invested would be 6:4:3. This is done by taking the LCM of the denominators, that is 2, 3, and 4, and then simplifying them. The ratio of time period would be 4:2:1. So now from this we can calculate the ratio of investment. 6 into 4, 4 into 2, and 3 into 1, that is 24:8:3. Now if you read the question again, the total amount of profit is not given to us, but A's share in the profit is given and we need to find B's share. So we can calculate the proportion of B's share in comparison to A, that is B upon A, that will come down to 1/3, that is 8/24. So B's share is 1/3 of A's share, and since A's share is 30,000, B's share will come down to rupees 10,000. Next question. Ajay started a firm with a capital of rupees 28,000. After 5 months, Baman joined him and invested rupees 40,000 in the firm. Chirag was also added as a new partner with an individual investment of rupees 56,000 after 7 months of commencement. If at the end of the year the profit of the firm is rupees 32,000, what is the share of Baman? Over here again we have time period and the amount of money invested being different, but directly the number of months is not given. In fact, we need to calculate it by deducting from 12 months. So we'll directly proceed to the investment formula instead of going step by step. So that will bring us as 28,000 into 12, then 40,000 into 7 because he's invested after 5 months. So 12 minus 5 is 7. And then it is 56,000 into 5 in the same way, 12 minus 7, which brings 5. So the ratio is 6:5:5. Now total profit is 32,000. So we can easily calculate Baman's share. That would be 5/16 into 32,000, which will give us 10,000. Now let's look at the next question. A began a business with 4,500 and was joined afterwards by B with rupees 5,400. If the profits at the end of the year were divided in the ratio of 2:1, then B joined the business after how many months? Over here we have the amount invested, but we do not have the time period for which it has been invested by B. So we'll take the unknown quantity to be N, that is we'll assume N to be the number of months for which B has invested money. Using this, we calculate their ratio, that is 4,500 into 12 is to 5,400 into N, Simplifying it, we get 10 is to n. Now in the question, we have the profit sharing ratio as 2 is to 1. So 10 is to n is equal to 2 is to 1. So equating the two, we get n is equal to 5. Now over here, you need to read the question carefully, because when you see 5 months as an option in the questions, you might simply jump and select it and move on to the next question, and you'll end up being wrong. So you need to carefully read the question and see what they are asking. So what they're asking here is, B joined the business after how many months? So for that, you need to calculate 12 minus 5. So B has joined the business after 7 months from A. This is because we had assumed N to be the number of months for which B has invested the money. That is why we need to deduce it from 12 and get the figure. Moving on to the next question. Abhishek and Rani started a partnership business by investing rupees 1 crore and 2 crores respectively in the beginning of the year. Each of them withdrew 1/4 of the initial investment after each quarter until the second quarter. At this point, Sushmita and Randeep joined them with rupees 50 lakh and rupees 1 crore respectively. Randeep withdrew his entire investment after 3 months. If the profit at the end of the year is 41 lakhs, the combined share of Abhishek and Rani is. See, in questions like this, you might get confused by the amount of figures and the numbers given. So the trick here is to go by sentence. So the first thing we do is we calculate Abhishek's investment, which would be 1 crore, that is 100 lakhs. And it is given he withdraws 1/4 of his initial investment, that is 1/4 of 100, that is 25, after each quarter. Now every quarter is for 3 months. So his initial investment of 100 would be 100 into 3, then it would be 75 into 3, and then it stays constant 50 into 6 months, which will come down to 825. Similarly, we'll calculate Rani's investment, that is 200 into 3 plus 150, because 1/4 of 200 is 50. So she withdraws 50 lakhs after 3 months. So it is 150 into 3, and then again she withdraws 50 and is left with 100, which is constant for 6 months. So 100 into 6, which comes to 1650. Now next is Sushmita joins after 6 months and she has not withdrawn anything. So her investment would be 50 lakhs into 6, which is 300. Now next, Randeep joins with 1 crore, but he withdrew his entire investment after 3 months. So technically he's invested his amount only for 3 months. So his investment would be 100 into 3, that is 300. Using these 4 figures, we calculate their profit sharing ratio, which comes down to 11 is to 22 is to 4 is to 4. So the combined share of Abhishek and Rani would be 11 plus 22, that is 33 upon 41 into 41 lakhs, which comes down to rupees 33 lakhs. Now let's look at another question. A, B and C entered into a partnership with an amount of rupees 10,000 each. After 4 months, A invests an additional rupees 2,000. 3 months after, B invests rupees 4,000 and C at the same time withdrew rupees 2,000. Profit at the end of the year is rupees 2,17,000. What are their respective shares if C is to be allowed rupees 2,000 as monthly salary from profits at the end? So this question is a little similar to the previous one in concept of the addition of partners, withdrawing of money, but an additional point over here is that C is to be allowed rupees 2,000 as monthly salary from the profits. So as we all know, profits is calculated after all expenses. So the profit available for distribution here would be calculated as after deducting C's salary. So first let's calculate C's salary. His annual salary will come down to 2,000 into 12, that is rupees 24,000. Now we'll reduce this figure from the profit figure of the year and calculate the profit available for distribution. That is 217 minus 24, that comes down to 1,93,000. So now we calculate A's investment. He's invested 10,000 for 4 months, that is 10,000 into 4, and after that he has invested an additional 2,000, so that is 12,000 into 8. That comes to 1,36,000. For B, he invested 10,000 initially, and after 7 months, he's invested 4,000 extra. So that is 10,000 into 7, plus 14,000 into 5, which comes to 1,40,000. C's investment similarly is 10,000 into 7, but he has withdrew 2,000 after that. So it is 8,000 into 5, which comes to 1,10,000. So from here we can calculate their profit sharing ratio will come down to 68 is to 70 is to 55. And then we can calculate their respective shares as usual. That is A share 68 upon 193. Similarly, B and C shares. So we'll get the answer as 68,000, 70,000, 55,000. So with this question, we wrap up our session. So these are the broad categories of questions that come in partnership, and you will most probably not get anything beyond this. So if you practice this, it should be enough for your exams. Thank you.